Hey there guys, PortalMaster9351 here, and in today's video I wanted to do a Skylanders 2017 year in review. Now, before you start saying, PortalMaster, you're copying Jap28, let it be known that yes, I did watch Jap28's video. Now, originally, I was not planning on watching his video so that I could basically say, I haven't even watched his video, how can I be copying him? But I did actually go ahead and decide to watch his video because I was curious what he actually put on there. And he put most of the information. There were a few things that he put on there that I didn't think needed to be on there, and there were a few things that he didn't put on there that should have been on there, and there were a couple things, there was one thing that he didn't put in the right spot, but for the most part, it was a good video. He didn't put a lot of discussion into it. It was pretty much just a slideshow thing. But I wanted to go a little bit more in-depth in sort of my discussions on the year in review and talk a little bit about how this affects us going forward. So I have two pieces of paper here that I'm going to read stuff off of just to keep me straight. I don't have a script, just have talking points basically. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about it. So without further ado, let's get started by talking about January of this year. Alright, January 2017. Hype is building for the impending announcement of Skylanders 7. The entire fan base is like, we're getting a Skylanders 7. Woo! There is February right there. That's when it's getting announced. But then on Twitter, a guy by the name of Liam Robertson is like, you're not getting a Skylanders 7. And the Skylanders fan base is like, well, there's two things. You're either like, hey, we should listen to that guy, or you're stupid. That was basically the two sides of the Skylanders fan base. And so, stuff kept going on, and drama, and all that great stuff until February! Yeah, Skylanders 7 in 2017, no. Not happening. No. Not happening. We found that out in February. And we also found out that year 2 is probably going to be a thing. Spoiler alert. It wasn't actually a thing. But in February, for all intents and purposes, the announcement made it sound like we were getting a year 2. Also, there was a brand new mobile game that was announced for a release in early 2018, or rather the first half of 2018. And also, the first major update for Skylanders was released at the end of February. And I'm not actually sure if this was the end of February. It may have been the beginning of March. Not 100% sure on this one. I believe it was the end of February is when the update was actually released. And it was the first time that any form of a major update had actually been released for Skylanders. Yes, Skylanders Superchargers did have a couple of minor updates that did tweak a few aspects of the game, but for all intents and purposes, the update in February was the first major update to ever come to a Skylanders game. So that was a first. Fast forward into March. Skylanders Imaginators was released on the Nintendo Switch. It was a launch title on the Switch, which was pretty awesome. And actually, way back in 2016, I believe it was, I actually called that Skylanders would be a launch title for the Nintendo Switch. That was like before the Switch was even announced. I called it the NX. I was like, Skylanders 6 on the NX or something like that. And I basically said, yeah, it's going to be a launch title. So I called that. Pat me on the back right there, because I called it. But yeah, it was released on the Switch, which was pretty cool. And actually, for some people, it was unexpected. Although, again, I called it. Also, in the month of March, the Cursed Tiki Temple was released. This was the first expansion pack to be released for a Skylanders game. It had been announced several months prior, but this is the first time. This is when it was actually released for Imaginators. Jump to May. Nothing happened in April. It was my birthday. That was about it. Does that have anything to do with Skylanders? No, it doesn't. So, nothing important in April. But in May, Thrillipede started to show up in stores for the first time in a year. Actually, for the first time in America, period. All Best Buys, or almost all Best Buys, got at least one Thrillipede. And most places, it was just one Thrillipede. Actually, now that I say it, I don't know that there was a report of a Best Buy getting more than one Thrillipede. I'm pretty sure that all the Best Buys that got it only got one Thrillipede. And that was it. And for some reason, they waited over a year. Thrillipede was never seen again. I don't know what that was about, but hey, for a brief period of time in May, Thrillipede was available at your local Best Buy, but only if you were the first Skylanders fan to get there. June rolls around. Year 2, well, there's doubts. Some people think there is, some people think there isn't. The fan base is divided. I would say at this point it was probably about 50-50. 50% of the fans were like, year 2. The other half the fan base is like, no, not happening. But around the beginning of June, or maybe it was the end of May, again, can't remember very specific details, plus a lot of this was in 4chan, and a lot of the media around this was actually deleted, so yeah, it's kind of confusing. But anyways, sometime around this point, early June, the Krakatoa and Barbella leaks came about, and almost all the fan base believed it. I would say probably 80% of the fan base bought into it, if not more than 80% of the fan base gave it some form of credit that it could potentially be real. And so a lot of you were like, oh my gosh, E3 2017, here we go, we're getting a year 2. And then E3 rolled around and it didn't happen. But a brand new Toys to Life game was announced at E3 2017 in the month of June, so that was kind of interesting. Maybe it's not Skylanders related, but the fact of the matter is there was a new Toys to Life game, and that was definitely something that I think most people could say was pretty unexpected. I would say it was probably right after E3 that most people gave up all hope for year 2. There was still some hope left because they were saying in August there's Gamescom and maybe at Gamescom, but for the most part all hope for year 2 died out after the leaks were proved to be fake. In August, the month of August, it's slightly unrelated, but Crash Bandicoot's remaster was released. It is still slightly related to Skylanders, because, well, he was released in Skylanders first. But that being said, it did pretty well, and that's pretty much it for that. Something slightly more Skylanders-y related did happen in the month of August, and that was the release of the first volume of Skylanders, Spyro, and Friends. And this was the graphic novel, comic book thing that rehashed a few of the old micro-comics. But nevertheless, it was a brand new quarterly comic series that did premiere in the month of August, and it was definitely something that I would say was pretty unexpected for a new comic book series to actually be going for Skylanders. So that happened, and there was not actually a lot of hype around that. It was something that just kind of came and went, especially since we originally thought it wasn't releasing until February 2018. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, new comic was released in August. September. Nothing good happened in September. That being said, stuff did still happen in September, and that was the close down of Skylanders Battlecast. This was probably a really big thing in the community. There was a lot of buzz around this because people were like, oh my gosh, they're shutting down this game. It was a pretty massive failure. And I mean, it was a pretty massive failure. It did not do well at all. And I have a whole video on that, why Skylanders Battlecast failed, because there's a lot of reasons why it failed. And I have a lot of opinions on why it failed. But yeah, it failed in the month of September, and that led to some sadness. But then came October, am I right? Because then we got Skylanders Academy Season 2. Because we all wanted a new season of that. And I mean, why not? It's a pretty good show. I mean, obviously a lot of us fans would have preferred, you know, a new game, but hey, Skylanders Academy Season 2 was actually a pretty good piece of work. It was definitely good. I congratulated the dude who made it on Twitter and did a whole lot of videos about Academy because I thought it was pretty cool. And it was probably the biggest thing for Skylanders that happened this year, other than the fact that nothing happened this year. So other than the fact that nothing happened this year, other than this thing would be the most important thing that happened this I don't know, guys. Also in the month of October, Froyo Promo. Yo. Also in the month of October, The Lost Imaginite Minds was finally released in America. It was released in Europe like many months ago. I don't even know how many months ago at this point it was released. But hey, we finally got it in America. Less than a week after I ordered it from Europe for double the price. Woo! It's November. Skylanders, Spyro, and Friends Volume 2 was released, and that's the last I've heard on it. I assume there's a new one coming in February. I honestly don't know, but hey, We'll have to wait and see. But that was pretty much the only important thing that happened in November, other than the fact that Skylanders Lost Island shut down on the 1st. That was something that literally no one cared about. I didn't see a single post on Instagram about it closing down, because nobody cared, because I'm pretty sure no one has played that game since the end of 2015. I'm honestly pretty sure no one has. It was not a bad game, it's just they stopped updating it years ago, and honestly, I'm surprised they waited until now to close it down. They closed it down after they closed down Battlecast, and it came out years before Battlecast, and people stopped playing it years before Battlecast. So it was weird that they chose November to shut it down, but hey, that's when it shut down. And now it is December, and the Skylanders community anxiously awaits 2018. Nothing really important has happened in the month of December. In Jap's video, he was just like, this is it. You know, I don't know what's going to happen this month. And, well, nothing. Nothing has happened this month. Like, basically, nothing has happened. No, I mean, for real, name one thing that's happened this month. Put it down in the comments what Skylanders related has happened in the month of December, because I'm betting it's nothing. So if the answer really is nothing, then please put something else down in the comments, because I want you guys to comment on my video. Or, I mean, for that matter, you can just put nothing. I legitimately don't care. Just put something down there, please. It's pretty good. It boosts my video up. It makes me feel good. I like feeling good. But yeah, that's the whole thing. Nothing happened in December, and honestly, I don't know what's going to happen from here on out. I'm going to have an upcoming video sometime next month, the beginning of the year, talking about probably the outlook for 2018 for the Skylanders franchise. I didn't want to try to cram 2 videos together. Figured I'd just let that be its own thing and cover that in a separate video. But yeah, that was really it for 2017. People are saying it was a bad year for Skylanders, or, you know, whatever. But in reality, guys, it wasn't so much that it was a bad year as it was a year where nothing happened. People are saying Skylanders didn't sell this year. Well, duh, it didn't sell this year. There wasn't a new game. Like, for real, why would you expect them to keep restocking characters we've had for years? Of course Walmart is going to have barren shelves. It's like, that's common sense, guys. There's not going to be a whole lot of sales when there's nothing new coming out. I mean, we got 2 new things, and that was basically it. So, I'm not surprised that nothing happened this year, because nothing was released this year. Skylanders Academy was great, and I love the show, but, you know, other than that, nothing really happened. But 2018 is going to be an interesting year. The mobile game is still happening, as far as we can tell. We haven't heard anything about it, but that's not a bad thing. It's just we haven't heard anything about it. We assume it's still being made. I mean, why wouldn't it be still being made? I really don't know. I assume it would still be being made, but guess we'll have to wait until 2018 to find out. Less than 2 months until the press conference for 2017 year in review for Activision, so that is like the beginning of February, so less than a month and a half actually. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Skylanders 2017, a year in review. Stay tuned for more exciting, awesome Skylanders content from me, PortalMaster9351, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.